On this week's Waypoint, open beta wraps up, flaws and all, and we march toward release. What's up, guys, and welcome to Waypoint, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV recap for August 23rd, 2013. I'm your host, Kat Andrusko. Open beta's in the bag, and a fun time was had by all. Well, maybe not all, because there were a few issues that prevented some gamers from actually getting into the game. The most prevalent of these was Error 3102. It seemed to be keeping characters logged onto the game in error and preventing any future logins. The bug was so widespread that some fans decided to rework the Legacy logo into a 3102 Survivor logo. After a long period of silence, the error was finally acknowledged and a fix implemented during emergency maintenance. Open beta was extended for 6 hours to test the fix. All seemed to be going well, so the beta was officially closed. Let's just hope these issues don't pop up during the early access period, starting on the 24th. Speaking of early access, if you pre-ordered the game, make sure you register your code on the official site. But you might want to wait until you get the official email from Square Enix, because their website's getting slammed with traffic right now. Check this out. A few days prior to the start of open beta, a post showed up on the forums bringing a bit of clarity to some mysterious speculation. In case you've been seeing the words Mog Station floating around the interwebs, this is going to be the new FF XIV ARR service management page that we'll be releasing. So, it seems like we may be on the verge of getting a more unified payment and management system. Thank God! This is something I think most of you would welcome, considering the challenges faced with the original release. What we don't know, though, is how much the new site will integrate with the new lodestone, what features will be available, and when the service is set to go live. Being that the site accepts pre-order codes, though, I would imagine the plan is to launch this new service very soon. Next up, let's take a look at some of the hot topics on the XIV Nation forums. Gamers loved the way dynamic weather rolled through Eorzea. While previous beta phases only enabled rain or no weather at all, this final beta saw the addition of snow, fog, lightning, no, not that lightning, and a few other weather conditions. While weather isn't set to impact the world the way it did in Final Fantasy XI, it will play a factor when players are fishing. That being said, Yoshi P has left options open as to how weather can impact the game in the future. Speaking of impact, the beta and XIV Nation forums are abuzz with the tanking carbuncle. It seems this pint-sized Arcanist summon was able to grab and hold Enmity a little too well. While fine for Arcanists out for a solo walk in the world, Carby apparently drew the ire of some other tanks. Looks like he may be getting a few tweaks before launch. On the topic of tweaks, fans weren't exactly happy about some of the difficulty fixes made to the main storyline quests. During Beta Phase 3, some players felt that the high difficulty, primarily on the level 15 story quest, took away from gameplay. In response, 2 changes were made. Not only did the story quests get the nerf badge, but a new feature was also added that decreases the difficulty if a player dies repeatedly. Seems like a casual flame fest waiting to happen. But what do you think? Do you like a more difficult experience, or are you behind the changes? Let us know in the comments below. Okay guys, I'm sorry. I know this was covered way back on the last live letter, but I just had to bring it up on our first episode. Not only will Final Fantasy XIV be featuring chocobos as mounts, but they've been teasing other mounts for months now. With certain editions of the 2.0 software coming complete with Coeurl mounts, other transportation options seem potentially unlimited. The new Veterans Reward program also showed off a new winged mount. It allows players to ride directly on a beady eye's head. But that pales in comparison to what Yoshi P showed off during Live Letter 8. That's right, a unicorn mount. We're waiting for details, but damn, it sure looks pretty. In a move that many expected, it's been confirmed that an add-on development toolkit will be made available about 8 months after the relaunch. But why is this news? Well, Square Enix hasn't exactly been open to the idea of allowing add-ons in the past. Fast forward to today and we see Square Enix making strides to be more player-centric and communicate to the fanbase. What I want to know is what add-on you want to see. What did you feel was missing from your gameplay that an add-on could fix? And yes, we will be hosting add-ons directly on XIV Nation when they're available. Okay, before we wrap up, I want to talk a bit about grand companies. See, don't ever say I never taught you anything. We've been getting tons of questions about the grand companies. Can I screw up my whole character by choosing the wrong grand company? Well, let me set the record straight. For those that don't know, There are 3 grand companies, one for each major city in Eorzea. The Maelstrom is the grand company of Limsa Lominsa. The Order of the Twin Adder is in Gridania, and the Immortal Flames are in Ulda. During your main story, you'll be asked to choose which of these companies you'd like to belong to. Once chosen, your grand company will continue to play a role in your story. It'll allow you to rank up within the company through quests, and even supply you with a hunting log packed with rewards. So yeah, the gear, rewards, and perks available differ by company, but none of them are so game-breaking for a specific class that a wrong decision spells doom for your character. My advice? Take a look at the gear each company provides and pick the company that appeals to you the most. If you can't decide, pick whoever you want. While it's not ideal to switch later in the game, you still can. You'll just have to grind through the ranks all over again. Last up here on Waypoint, we want to take some time to showcase your greatest work. Drawings, videos, or tattoos. If it's Final Fantasy XIV related, we want to see it. Just don't send me a picture of your dick. Check out this awesome background in development by XIV Nation community member, Elwalk. And if you haven't checked out the XIV Nation, what are you waiting for? Head on over to xivnation.com and join the fastest growing Final Fantasy XIV community on the web. Well, that does it for this week's episode of Waypoint. Be sure to check back every week for updated Final Fantasy XIV news. I'm Kat Andresco, and you can follow me on Twitter at Kat Andresco. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys at the next Waypoint.